guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's Thursday thought is all about creating your own opportunity. This video is closely related to the one I made about making your own plan and deciding when you make it. So I wanted to talk about the fact that I realized, in the beginning of setting out to accomplish your goals, sometimes you wonder where the opportunities are going to come from, or the resources, or the people, or the products, or whatever it is you need to get there. And I'm here to tell you guys that if you just start moving towards whatever it is you're going for, those opportunities will present themselves. And that's happened to me multiple times so far in my journey. I made a decision to do something without knowing how any of it was going to happen. I had a rough idea, as far as changing my body composition. I knew I needed a coach, if I was going to compete, and I had a rough idea of who I was going to go with, but I hadn't even reached out. I hadn't met them. It was nothing like that. But as far as the rest of it, I wanted to tell you guys, what power there is in making a decision and not changing your mind and moving towards it in faith. Because if you do that, things will present themselves. I'll tell you guys kind of a crazy story that happened to me at the beginning of November. I was still working in like a part-time job, and I was starting to feel a little bit uneasy. About 9 months had gone by since I left a full-time desk job, and I realized that I wasn't happy because I was still hiding behind that 9 to 5. The 9 to 5 wasn't me, but I was still hanging on to it because it felt like security. It didn't feel like me, but it felt secure. So it almost felt like I'm hanging on to this because at least I know I can see it. At least I know it's there every day. Whereas if I let go and I quit, then it's like I'm throwing myself all into this new opportunity and I need to build everything from scratch. So it felt really overwhelming and daunting. So I was putting it off forever. But the beginning of November came and I had this feeling. I don't know if some of you guys are if you believe in this or not, but I've been talking to a lot of my spiritual friends and we talk about numbers popping up. Like you'll see 333 or 1111 on the clock or something like that. And I'm not too big into it, but I know that for whatever reason it keeps lining up. I know that I feel a certain way without knowing why, and then I'll look over and see like the same consistent numbers all the time. And I mean, because it's happened so much, I believe that there's a reason for it. I just don't know too much about that. All I know is the feelings that are connected to it, that it brings me. So anyway, I woke up and it was, I forget what day it was, very beginning of November. And I remember thinking to myself, I feel amazing right now. I feel so aligned and I feel connected. I feel like anything is possible. I feel like the rest of this year and all of 2020 is just going to be huge growth. And it's time for me to make a huge change, and it's time for me to take a chance on myself. And I just felt so empowered and amazing. And I slept in that day, and I thought all those feelings and everything. And I leaned over to pick up my phone to check the time, and it was exactly 11:11. So then I put my phone down, and I'm like, okay. I was like, that's funny. And then instantly I felt like I was perfectly aligned with Source, and I could hear the words, "You need to quit your job today." And I was like, what? I was like, I'm not quitting my job today. I literally was just telling my husband how, yeah, I'm thinking about quitting within the next few months just because I'm starting to get that feeling like it's not me. But this feeling was like, no, you need to put your 2-week notice in today. So I was like, oh my God, like I'm just throwing myself in there. I have no plan, so like I know I want to do this. I know I want to break away. I know I want to build something on my own, but I have no plan. And it was like, nope, just do it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to trust this feeling because I'm basing my entire experience around this belief. Like the things that this feeling has brought me are just absolutely huge ever since then, ever since I listened to it. So I just wanted to share this story with you guys, and it's all related to creating your own opportunity. So I go to work, I typed up a resignation letter, I printed it out, I signed it, and I handed it in. And that day, or was it that day or the last day of work, 2 weeks later? I believe it was the last day of work. I met my very first, networking connection through Facebook. And that's my friend Julia. Hi, Julia, if you're watching this. And it was the day right before I set out to start everything for myself. And ever since that day, I've had about 3,000 Facebook friend requests from like-minded spiritual people, from successful entrepreneurs, from fitness icons, fitness professionals, athletes, just people in the vocation that I'm trying to get into. And it's all networking. I mean, I've talked to probably maybe 200 of them so far. It's hard to reach out to every single person when you're growing that quickly, but I've barely had to reach out to anybody. I've had so many connections and so many new relationships and friends just built out of that. And those relationships and friends, they bring you opportunities, they give you ideas, they help you build even quicker because they're seeing things from a different point of view that you don't. So I just kind of wanted to send this message out as some encouragement to any of you guys. If you have that gut feeling that you're supposed to take a chance on yourself or you're supposed to do something differently, even though it's scary, in my experience, it's rewarded me like 100 times over so far. And it's not necessarily anything physical yet. It's not necessarily like checks are coming out of nowhere or whatever, but it's the mindset. It's all about your mind. It's all about who you believe you can be to attract the money, to attract the trips, to attract the house, to attract the things that you can build your life to get better and better. It all starts in your mind. And based on what you believe about yourself and what you believe you can have and what you believe you deserve, all of that. And the people that I've met have helped me so much with that growth, as far as putting myself out there and starting all of this. I honestly don't think this would have been brought to me if I didn't jump in and take a chance on myself and create that opportunity. One thing that I do want to let you guys know before I end this video is it was right around the same time I was leaving, and I was thinking about how, we create our reality as we go. And I was watching the Steve Harvey video. I actually have it posted on my Facebook from a few months back. And which is so funny now that I think about it. That might have been part of the reason I was inspired to leave my job, was because he was telling this story where he was saving for a car and he was still living at home, and he had his old car up on these cinder blocks in the backyard where he had tried fixing it multiple times. There were like oil stains and garbage everywhere, and from him cleaning it out and trying to get it going. And he knew he needed a new car, so he was saving and saving and saving, but he still had that old one in the back that he was fixing up. And every time he'd get a paycheck, he'd come home and he'd tell his mom, I got some money stashed away. I'm building towards getting a car. And every time he would come to her so motivated that he had more money to put towards this new car, she would say, "That's awesome, but," this isn't verbatim, she would say, "That's awesome, but your old car is still in the backyard." And he'd be like, "I know, but like I'm getting a new one." And week after week, or whenever he would get his paychecks, he would say, "Look, I've got more money to put towards this car." And she'd be like, "That's great, but you got your old car in the backyard." And he's like, "Man, she knows it doesn't work. Like, why does she keep bringing that up?" And it wasn't until after he had thought about what she said, he cleaned up the backyard. He got a friend to tow it away for him, cleaned up the garbage, got rid of the blocks, everything. And then things started to go into motion, and he ended up having an opportunity to get his new car. It was new to him. It wasn't brand new. He ended up being presented with this opportunity to get one, like soon after he got rid of his car. And it got me thinking, we cannot expect universe, God, source, whatever you guys call it, we cannot expect universe to bring us the things we're asking for if we're still hanging on to the old things that we've got. And that's kind of part of what inspired me to leave my job. Was I realized I'm thinking one thing, but I'm acting a different way. I'm saying I want to be a successful, independent fitness entrepreneur, but I'm hanging on to a 9 to 5. it just totally contradicted itself. So I kind of wanted to just put that out there and let you guys know you can create your own opportunity. You just have to have the guts and the courage and the faith to jump in and do it.